connection with the Digital Education Initiative of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. Here is a lecture on VLSI technology having subject code KEC 053, and the topic for the lecture is oxidation. In the last class we have seen or we have completed so far in this particular subject how the silicon growth is being done, that is how single crystal silicon is formed from the raw silicon, that is metal grade silicon, electron grade silicon, then silicon ingot. Then we saw the wafer characteristics, performance like how do you characterize wafers, then we saw the epitaxial growth process completely, and here is the oxidation process, which is very important as far as your IC fabrication is concerned. Now, what are we going to study in this cases? What exactly are the features of oxide layer and how this layer grows and what is the kinetics behind this particular layer growth. At the end of this particular lecture, I expect all the students to understand the functionality served by the oxide layer as far as your IC fabrication process is concerned, and I expect that you should be able to describe the kinetics behind the oxide growth process. Now, coming back to the first objective, that is what are the properties of oxide. Now, whenever thermally grown SiO2 is or silicon dioxide is grown, there are different properties, and that is what is the reason behind which, or that is the reason behind selection of silicon, or silicon being the most widely or most prominent material which is being used in the integrated circuit industry. Now, since silicon is most researched, most popular, why silicon? When we saw in the very first lecture, that time we have seen that it has got very good oxide layer which is being produced. So, in continuation that, or on mapping those particular benefits of silicon dioxide or advantages of silicon dioxide, we are coming back over here. It has got excellent, it works as an excellent electrical insulator having conductivity of 10 raised to the power plus 16 ohm centimeter, and the band gap is around 9 electron volt. It has got very high electric breakdown field of almost 10 megavolt per centimeter. It is very stable, reproducible. The SiO2 interface is very reproducible. Wherever you grow the SiO2, it will be having the same properties. The conformal growth or oxide growth is basically happening on the Si, and how that is happening is also very significant or very typical thing, which is making it the best or most suited oxide grown on silicon, and that is why silicon is being popularly used. Now, here if you see right from 10 angstrom to 1 micrometer, every layer thickness has got its own typical applications, ranging from you have 10 angstrom is used for chemical oxides, which are used from which are basically native oxides which are grown by default when silicon is exposed to environment. Then you have around 100 angstrom you have small scale or scale devices, you have pad oxides, you have gate oxides or tunneling oxides, which are having their applications in this particular range. Around 1 micrometer you have masking oxides, which are preventing the passivation or preventing the or protecting the active surface of silicon or any other surface which is underlying. Then you have around 1 micrometer you have field oxides, which are typically used in the construction of MOSFET devices. So, you have different applications ranging for very thin film of oxide to comparatively thick film of oxide, and therefore, the kinetics and the importance of oxide is very essentially to be studied, and that is why the significance of silicon dioxide is prominent in the IC industry. Now, how this silicon dioxide is grown, that is also one of the process. Now, normal tendency of any substrate, normal tendency of any surface is to get deposited and grow here. Suppose I am having this surface, this is my surface, okay. This is my original surface. Now, this surface, when I deposit something, it has got tendency to get deposited on top of it, but in case of silicon dioxide it is not the case. First silicon dioxide, now what happens is the silicon dioxide penetrates into the silicon, and then here the oxide layer growth or oxide layer growth starts. For every 1 micrometer or 1 unit oxide layer growth, for every 1 unit oxide layer growth, 0.44 D of silicon is consumed and then oxide layer is grown above it. And that is why, please understand, that is why what happens is, since these species are entering into the silicon substrate, the contamination remains on the surface. Whatever contamination is there, that remains on the surface, and that is what is the beauty of this, or that is what is the what you call a beneficial feature of this silicon dioxide growth, and that is what is being explored everywhere when you are growing silicon dioxide on the silicon surface. That means, again I am repeating, whenever there is 1 unit growth on the silicon, 0.44 D is consumed first. That means, the silicon dioxide will penetrate inside silicon first and then it will grow. So, first growth is in this direction and then subsequently it grows in the other direction. Now, this, as a consequence of this, again understand, whatever impurities are there, they are likely to be present on the surface, and since silicon dioxide is penetrating inside, first it is forming the layer inside and then subsequently towards the outside. What happens is, these impurities remain as it is on the outer surface and they do not those are not getting affected, or your device quality or the quality of this oxide growth is free from contamination, free from any defects, and that is what is the beauty, that is what is the advantageous beneficial feature of this silicon dioxide. Now, with this concept, that is 0.44 D getting consumed, every 1 D growth, we will get back to our reactions. Okay. So, in going ahead with the kinetics involved. In 1965, this Deal and Groove were the scientists who first proposed this particular model, and the model was like after so many years or more than 40 years also, this model is still valid, and that is why this model depicts complete oxidation process, describes complete oxidation process till date, except certain exceptions which have observed subsequently when the advanced technology being used, but till date majority of the cases this Deal and Groove model is very useful, very valid, and therefore, it is the most important model which describes the process of oxidation. Now, how it goes about, like how this particular process is being described by this Deal and Groove method. So, let us consider the 3 species I already told you, the oxygen or the oxide layer. Now, oxidation can happen or silicon will combine with, okay, there are 2 processes through which silicon can combine with oxygen to form silicon dioxide. So, this is, we call it as, okay, SiO2 will be formed. Another process we have, which we normally term as wet oxidation, where you will have 2 molecules of water combining with silicon to form SiO2 plus twice H2. Now, here, so these are the 2, we call this as a dry process and this we call it as a wet process. This is the general term or general, like I need not have to explain you, this is a dry because you do not have any water molecule into it, here we are having moisture, that is why we are calling it as a wet. So, these are the 2 basic techniques through which oxide is being grown. Now, when these oxidizing species enter into this particular oxide layer, there are, I told you already, there is a penetration and then the oxide subsequently grows, and therefore, you have 2 interfaces being defined or 3 interfaces being defined. The first interface is basically between the oxidizing species of the gas which is available over here and the concentration of the oxidizing species at the surface. So, this flux or this transport mechanism, this flux I define with F1. Now, what is this F1? Cg is the concentration of oxidizing species in the gas and Cs is the oxidizing species on the surface, and this is what is known as, okay, this is what I define as the flux F1. Now, another flux I define which is basically the process of penetrating into the oxide or penetration of oxidizing species into the substrate is being defined, and here I define this as the outer surface of the oxide and this is the inner surface of the oxide which I define by Ci. So, concentration of the oxidizing species on the outer surface of the silicon dioxide layer and concentration of the species, oxidizing species at the inner layer, at the inner portion or inward direction or inner layer of the SiO2. This is what I am defining. Now, this is CO stands for outer layer, Ci stands for inner layer, and another one is which is penetrating inside, that I define as the flux F3, and that I call it as a reaction flux at the interface where it is Si-SiO2 interface. So, that is how again flux F1 is the flux which is defined by the transport of the oxidizing species from the gas to the surface of the oxide layer. Second flux is defining the transport mechanism within the silicon dioxide, that is transportation from the outer surface of the silicon dioxide to the inner surface of the silicon dioxide, and third one is at the silicon dioxide interface inside the substrate. Now, to define these three species, I am considering, or these three particular fluxes, I am going to define three different constants I am going to use. Now, this constant, this is nothing but because of the concentration gradient, this flux F1 I can define, this is the concentration of gas, concentration of oxidizing species in the gas, concentration of oxidizing species on the surface, and since this particular is because of the concentration gradient, I am defining that constant as the gas mass transfer coefficient. Second flux is basically the penetration inside the silicon dioxide, or you have this is the silicon dioxide, this is outer wall of the silicon dioxide and inner wall of the silicon dioxide, this is CO and this is Ci. Now, this is basically happening because of the penetration, and the depth of penetration I define as Xi or X, that is the oxide layer, I call it as Xox. Now, if I define a diffusion constant, then the flux can be defined as d divided by d into rate of concentration variation divided by the penetration depth, and that is why the concentration gradient I am defining in the form of CO and Ci, that is CO is the concentration of oxidizing species on the outer surface minus concentration of the oxidizing species on the inner surface, and dx is nothing but the depth of penetration or the oxide layer depth which is formed, or the what you call is this is the thickness of the oxide layer to be precise. And this is how, this is my second equation I define, this is my very first equation I define, and third equation is basically because of the reaction at the interface which is causing or formation of SiO2, and further the whatever number of species are available to react with oxygen arriving over there, that much oxide layer will grow, and therefore, I am calling it as reaction rate constant Ks or surface reaction rate constant into Ci. Ci is basically oxidizing species on the surface. So, this is how I assume, this is how I define flux F1, F2 and F3. Now, under equilibrium all these fluxes are going to be same, and therefore, I apply here one equation or gas law I apply, and that gas law is basically Henry's law, which says that under equilibrium condition, any concentration of the species inside a solid is equal to or are proportional to the partial pressure of the species in the surrounding. Now, here we are having surrounding gas, and therefore, I replace, okay, and that constant of proportionality is known as Henry's constant. Again I am telling you, it is basically, it is telling you that at equilibrium I can call it, okay, I can call it as a C star also. This is what I am telling, and this is my Henry's constant, and I am calling it at under equilibrium condition, okay, under equilibrium condition the concentration of the species within the solid is equal to partial pressure of the species within the surrounding, and that is why. So, we are talking about the oxidizing species. So, oxidizing species in the surrounding and oxidizing species within the solid are equated with Henry's constant H, and this Henry's constant is giving you very beautiful or very substantial relationship between partial pressure and the concentration. If I substitute this, okay, since my C star or equilibrium concentration is equal to P times Cg, I can represent this in the form of partial pressure, I can represent this in the form of partial pressure, or I can represent this directly, okay, I can represent this directly in the form of C star, because this is nothing but my, okay, this is my solid. Now, under this solid I am having the partial pressure Ps, and PV is equal to like you have already the equation, that is this partial pressure is related to concentration. So, if I substitute this equation, if I substitute this equation over here for equating, okay, this particular equation, I am having Hg is equal to Cg minus Cs. Now, same equation I am trying to, instead of Cg I am representing this Pg, okay, Cg I am representing this C star by H, and if I C star by H, and I am equating this to minus Co. Now, this is nothing but if I call this entire equation or this entire constant I represent with small h. I am equating, okay, another F2 is d into Co minus Ci divided by Xi, that is the, or X, which is the oxide thickness, and I am equating the third, that is reaction rate constant, is equal to, under equilibrium condition all these three are going to be same. So, I am substituting Ks, okay, into Ci, which is equal to d into C0 minus Ci. Now, if I substitute the value of Ci here, okay, so I will, if I equate these, okay, if I equate this, I will get the equation as, I am just rearranging the terms, I will get Ci is equal to, this Ks will go over here. So, this will come Ks into plus d by x, which is equal to Ci I am bringing, okay, this I say Ci I will take common over here. So, this will become Ks minus d by x is equal to d by x into Co. So, I am just rearranging and getting it. Now, with this another equation what I get is, from here if I represent this with small h, that is one, everything is constant here, Hg is constant, okay, H is Henry's constant is constant, temperature is constant, I am assuming the temperature is also constant, okay, and Bohl's equivalent, that is also Bohl's Bohl's constant is also constant. So, entire terminology I am representing with small h, and therefore, here I am representing with small h, and I am equating it with this same, okay, here I am having this equation, see, d by x into Co. So, I am representing Ci times this, okay. So, here I am representing H into C star minus Co is equal to, okay, C star minus Co, just see C star minus Co. So, Co I am representing with this equation. So, this equation I am representing Ks Co divided by 1 plus Ksx divided by d. Now, if I equate these equations, that is, from these equations I derive two values, okay, I will derive two values for Ci and Co, because I am interested in whatever is happening within this particular layer, which is SiO2 layer. What is exactly happening? So, when I substitute, simple substitution I am doing, see, Ci I am substituting over here, okay, here, sorry, here I am representing Co with this particular value. So, when I substitute, I try to equate, and I get C star divided by, this is equilibrium concentration in the form of 1 plus K s by H, which is constant, K s x divided by D, and CO comes out to be C star. So, my intention was basically get Ci in terms of C star, that is equilibrium concentration, and Ci in terms of C star. So, obtaining these two values like this, what I get is, okay, I can come to one conclusion that when my D is 0, please understand, when my D is tending to 0, this D is tending to 0 means, okay, this entire term, please understand, this becomes infinity, x tends to infinity. Now, when x tends to infinity, please understand, this entire term will become 0. That means, if this is my Ci, please understand, and this is my CO. So, what will happen? What will happen? Just see, x is tending to infinity, x is tending to infinity. So, what will happen? Any quantity divided by infinity. So, Ci is, okay, Ci is tending to 0, that means Ci is tending to 0, please understand. This is calling it Ci tending to 0. So, within the surface, my Ci is slowly tending to 0, this is what is the situation. Now, here please understand, initially it is C star at equilibrium concentration. Now, CO is at this particular instant I am having Ci tending to 0, and I call it as diffusion limited regime of oxidation, because entire process is being controlled, or entire process is because of the diffusion. The bottleneck is the diffusion. If diffusion, okay, if my x is, that means very large oxide depth, if happening large growth of oxide, then slowly your, okay, your growth or this interface concentration is slowly approaching 0. On the other hand, if my D is tending to infinity and my Ci, okay, D is tending to infinity, what will happen? This term will become very small. So, this will become predominant, this will become predominant. So, Ci becomes equal to Co. That means, I am having, there is equilibrium in the, so that means I have got linear growth rate, or I am having this particular growth rate, and this particular case is known as reaction limited oxidation. So, till the time my oxide, okay, till the time diffusion is tending to infinity, diffusion is, okay, diffusion is tending to infinity, my oxide growth is constantly happening at the same rate. The concentration of the outside surface as well as at the inside surface will be same, the growth will happen, and the bottleneck or the it is called as reaction limited growth rate. It is, okay, the reaction is happening, it is because of the reaction the growth, oxide growth is happening. Now, comes the rate, okay, deposition rate, how to calculate the rate at which the deposition, or how to calculate the growth rate. So, because everything we need to, so all these things basically when we are calculating this, our entire intention was in terms of equilibrium concentration, what will be the value of Ci and Co. And we found that there are two extreme cases when diffusion is 0, when diffusion is 0, the growth is basically, because, okay, we call it as a diffusion limited regime, because diffusion is not at all happening. Whereas, when diffusion is high, large, the junction depth, okay, the thin oxide film is growing, the rate or the concentration will be same. For thinner films, the concentration will be same. For thicker films, the concentration will reduce inside the growth, and this is what is the bottleneck which is in the growth process of the oxide. Now, comes the derivation or knowing the this same equation can be converted into oxide growth rate. Now, you know the number of species which are entering into the surface, here I told you already. So, here they are penetrating into the surface. If I assume that these species are N1, the rate at which they are penetrating, that is oxidant molecules per unit volume required to form unit volume of SiO2 will be defined by N1, and this N1 value is normally 2.27 into 10 raised to the power 22. It will be double in case of wet oxidation. Now, when I equate these values, I substitute the value of I substitute the values of this flux and putting the limitation, same flux value I put, and from the previous equation, same equation I put this particular value. When I substitute the value of flux, I assume that when I integrate these two values, I assume that the solution of this integration for initial condition, I assume that there was initial condition xi. Now, this integration solution will be 1 plus Ks by h into xi. If I say as initial condition is x, then Ks x square by 2d is equal to Ks c star divided by n1 t plus p, which is p is the constant of integration. Thus, I get to know that this is basically a quadratic equation. When I simplify this quadratic equation and higher order terms I equate, or constant terms I these terms I represent with a and b, I get the equation as xi square plus axi is equal to b into t plus tau. Now, this equation says, or I substitute here, tau is equal to xi square plus axi divided by b, whereas a is 2d into bracket 1 upon ks, this particular terminology as it is, this I try to simplify and then this I substitute, and second one this is basically b. So, when I evaluate or substitute a, b and tau as the constants in the equations, I get two limiting cases of the oxidizing rate. One, I ignore all the higher order terms and then I get this particular terminology, that is T ox square or xi square plus A xi. I can say T ox, that is oxide thickness, or xi square plus A xi is equal to B T plus tau. Now, here as I when time is very small, if I say t is very small, this will become further small. So, now this equation becomes this, then t is very small, T ox term will be further small. So, I ignore it. So, this comes T ox becomes B by A into T plus tau, whereas if T ox is very large, then I get to know that this particular term I keep on considering. So, this becomes T ox will be equal to or it will be proportional to under root B times T by tau. Now, these are the two limiting cases. Here I am having linear rate coefficient, or the growth is linear, whereas when oxide is sufficiently thick, there is non-linear growth, and that growth is defined by under root B T plus tau. So, that means every oxide layer or oxide rate of growth or rate of growth of oxide layer onto the silicon, SiO2 growth on silicon will have two limiting cases. When the oxide thickness is very small, there will be linear coefficient growth, and slowly as the thickness increases, it will be proportional to root of the thickness. So, that is root of time, that is basically after beyond certain, then the growth will retard. So, this is how we have different effects. So, this particular thing will show that there is a study being carried out. You have growth rate varying as far as the this thing is also concerned. You have dry oxidation, wet oxidation, and you will find the activation energy also getting changed. In case of this, you have 1.23 electron volt, here you are having 0.78 electron volt. So, oxidation. So, along with temperature, you are seeing that this is the temperature. As you increase the temperature, the rate of oxide growth is changing. Now, here also this is being shown, you have two what you call 111 orientation, because oxide growth is orientation dependent. So, 111 and 100 both crystal orientations are being shown, and here you will see that with wet oxidation the activation energy is 2.05, whereas in dry oxidation it is going to be approximately 2. And this is what is exactly being, so this is known as a linear rate constant. This is basically is called as parabolic rate constant. When the thickness is small, thickness is large. So, let us wind up. So, today we have seen the kinetics, linear and parabolic rate, how the growth rate changes with thickness of the or time. when you have large interval of time being like exposed, you are slowly growth rate will reduce. For initially it will be linear growth rate, we have seen that. So, if you are able to identify the functionalities, define the functionalities, discuss the kinetics, we are done up. I am sure you will be able to like understand and you will be able to reproduce the same thing. Let us go ahead with the next lecture, where we are going to study the actual oxidation process. So, thank you, God bless and good day.